All right, we're at P1 and we're talking the grip. How do we hold the golf club? Now, if I stand here and talk to you, my hands naturally hang slightly turned in, about 45 degrees each. So we want to start with that lead hand, and for right-handed golfers, the left hand. And I like to set up with the grip, holding the golf club to the left of me. My arms and hands hang naturally that way, and I'd like to see the left hand on the golf club. So with the leading edge, and I'm real picky about this. I like to grip it 2 degrees open, 2 to 3 degrees like that open. So I'll set it down. Oh, I'll just fan it just a little bit on the ground, and you won't be able to see this fan too much, but I'm just going to fan a little bit. I like to get my left hand grip to the left side of me because it's more natural than trying to grip it in front of me where you might have to feel like you're coming over your body too much. So just while I'm sitting there getting ready to go, I put the club to my left side of my body over here next to my left foot. I put my left hand with the club face slightly open, and I pick it up once I have the left hand turned down 45 degrees. So I'm going to hold the club with, and there's the club face just slightly open. I'm going to take my left hand off the club, and you'll see that 45-degree angle. So shaking hands would be vertical. Palm up would be too weak. This would be very neutral. That's like shaking hands. And palm down, any version of it's going to be what's considered on the strong side. I don't like 90. I think that's too much. But that 45 number is a real sweet spot. Club face, 2 to 3 degrees open. Why? Because I want to start the ball out to the right, out in front of me first, before it comes back either straight or draws slightly back in. Club face a little open, left hand 45 degrees, palm down, and the thumb of the lead hand definitely on the right side of the grip. That's probably my number one key to make sure my left hand's palm down. It's not that you can't go vertical and pop the left hand thumb over to the right, but it kind of feels weird. It would feel like the left hand thumb's just dangling over there. You can really get more of the thumb on the grip, like flat on the grip, if you turn your left hand 45 degrees and put the thumb to the right side of the grip. Now pick that club up, and now you can put the right hand on. Most amateur golfers mess the right hand grip up. Every tour pro, now they have different variations of how they hold the club. Jordan Spieth's going to be much more vertical. Dustin Johnson, very strong, especially in setup. As he takes it back, he actually repositions it to more palm down right as he's going back. So there's different variations of this, but you very rarely see palm up. I would highly suggest, other than chipping, that you don't go palm up, that you have some variation of either neutral at the weakest to 45 palm down. Now, most amateurs mess up the right hand grip. And what I mean by that is once they get this left hand on perfect, you see too much business with the right hand, too much thumb, too much V. The tour players, to a man and woman, are going to seal that right hand high on that left hand thumb, very high, to where it seals that gap between both the left and the right hand. The thumb of the left hand is not visible, except maybe the peak of it right here, because I do like a longer left hand thumb. That encourages a little easier hinge action. A short thumb, if you go short thumb, pushes on the grip too much. May cause a cast or an early torque in the transition that you don't want. So getting that thumb long helps with the hinge of the left wrist and the wrist cock. But the right hand is going to be, so if I said I want that right hand super high and sealed up on that left hand thumb, then you're definitely going to need a place for the pinky of the right hand. Because if you're finding your grips like comfortable 10 finger, I guarantee I got too much business being seen from the left hand. That right hand's too far down the club. So get that right hand. And lucky for us, the anatomy of our hands works for this. I tell the kids in our hands, it's like a hot dog bun, the little cup. And the left hand thumb is like a hot dog. And I want to cover that hot dog with that bun. Seal it up tight. Now, like I said, with you getting higher on the left hand, you're going to need to find a place for that pinky. And there's really two things we see on tour. You either see interlock, that's Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, two pretty good examples, or overlap. I'd say most of the tour probably overlaps, but two of the best in the world of all time, interlock. So I kind of leave that up to you. I think smaller hands, better interlock, medium, large, and up grips probably overlap. But you can decide. It's up to you. There's really no rule on that at all. As far as grip pressure, typically you'll hear last 3 fingers of the left hand, middle 2 fingers of the right hand are typically what the pressure is, and that holds pretty true. The danger is when people start getting too much pressure in the right hand thumb or pushing on that club in the wrong way. Typically, if you hold that right hand high up on that left hand and seal it up, there's not going to be much touching the club with the right hand. It's just going to be pretty much in the tips of the fingers. Why is it in the tip of the fingers of the right hand? Because you had to get that right hand way on top of that thumb and seal it up. So there's not much on there. It's going to be very much in the fingers. And then the thumb of the right hand is just chilling out over here on the left side of the grip. If there's an error I see, it's people putting too much pressure or putting the thumb on the right side or the top and pushing too much from there. Just relax that thumb. The popular thing was to put a marker when I was a kid on the right side of the thumb and try to touch that with the golf grip like that. So seal this thing up. I say if there's one fundamental on tour is those grips are sealed watertight and no gaps. And then play with different variations. You know, if you get this right hand high on that thumb, typically what that means too is that right hand's going to be slightly a little bit palm down. So here's that left hand 45 palm down, and that right hand will be a little touch, maybe 20, 30 degrees palm down to get that sealed up. If you got too much under like this, then you're going to see a lot of gap with that left hand, too much business, too much wiggle, and you'll see that stuff start to affect the top of the backswing when things get sloppy. So that sealed up tight shows up here at the top of the swing when you want to stay sealed up tight. That'll really help with keeping that right arm width. So there's reason for it, but let's copy the best. So let's take what the best players in the world do, figure out how they do it. And the number one thing I see the most of is those grips are watertight. That's number one. Number two is for the most part, their lead hand is slightly palm down. And for the most part, the right hand is a little bit on top. There is variations of all this, but that's pretty typical. And as far as the seal, that stays sealed at the top, sealed at impact, sealed in the finish all the way through. Like you could put a T between those two, the heel pad of the right hand and on top of the thumb of the left hand. Get that thing watertight and see how it helps.